I'm Steve Dickhouse, and this is Haus Talk, a podcast where we unpack what it's really like to live a life above average. Real people, real stories, real habits, real growth. See, every high performer has a story that's generally built upon faith, discipline, or courage. The courage to keep going even after life kicks you hard. If you're here, welcome.
Hey guys, welcome back to Haus Talk, where I get the opportunity to sit down with other high performers and get to share their real stories, real lessons, and bring that back to you guys, hopefully to inspire and motivate. And today I have the opportunity to sit down with Pastor Mark Griffith.
Let's go.
Somebody that I unfortunately have only met here in like the less than a year or so.
I know, it's a shame, dude.
Man, but I feel like I've known you for a long time. I really do. Mark is husband to Abby.
Yep.
They've been married for 8 years.
Yes, sir.
He's got 3 daughters.
Come on.
Two of yes, sir.
The girl dad life, man. Yeah.
2 of which that are adopted.
Yes.
And I want to circle back to that.
We will. Absolutely.
He has some awesome stories here that I'm excited to unpack about football, ex-college football player, to some tribulations, maybe not only on the field, but off the field. He's been a pastor now for 12 years in preaching. And guys, quite frankly, one of the best natural speakers that I have heard, had the pleasure of hearing.
Appreciate that.
You guys are in for a treat today. I promise you that. He's in a season right now of growth too, where you're transitioning some leadership opportunities. So everybody, please help me welcome Mark, man. I'm excited to have you.
Go. Let's have some house talk, man. I'm ready. I've been excited for this.
I have been too, man. I normally like when I'm trying to structure this is like just right off the top, like one of the hardest questions. Just to try to hook people, man. It's like, hey, you're either gonna watch this,
let's go,
or you're not gonna watch this.
That's
so
we need some good clickbait. You know what I'm saying?
Right off the get, bro. So we were talking, and I know you're ex-college football.
Yes.
You played a little quarterback.
I did.
Right? So my question is this. This is the gut punch.
Okay, here we go.
Would you rather go back for one more game? And this game is the championship game. Okay. Now, you can lead an auditorium, so I imagine you know how to lead a locker room and an offensive guys.
Speech or two.
And an offense. I can imagine, dude. You've pumped me up before.
Let's go.
Okay, so you lead an offense down one more time, and this is present day.
Okay, in high school.
No, this is a championship game, like big stage.
Okay,
right?
big stage.
Big stage.
All right.
Abby's there, your daughters are there, the lights are on,
okay.
The crowd is roaring.
Okay.
It's an offensive juggernaut battle. You guys exchange touchdowns. Here you go, 2-minute warnings on you.
Okay.
And you win.
Ooh.
And you're QB, and you win.
That's option 1.
Or put yourself, Busch Stadium, summer night concert.
Okay.
See, not a lot of people know this, but my boy Mark is a Christian rapper. He's a Christian rapper, dude.
Oh, man. We need to play a snippet of a song right there.
Yes, Thor Joey, put a clip over right here. Singing, I'm a dog, I'm a disciple of God, I'm a dog.
Oh, man. So rock the stage or rock the field, huh?
Rock the stage or rock the field, bro.
Oh, man. That's a good one. You know what's crazy, dude, is in high school when I was playing QB, because I didn't play QB in college, the game before the state championship, we lost it. And I had a terrible game. And it's haunted me all these years. I would probably have to go in the QB vein, dude, to be honest with you. I wasn't a great QB.
My kind of guy.
Come on, dude. I love to spit a couple bars here and there, but it would be cool to lead the rally and get back in the pads one more time. You know?
Dripping from the blood, dripping.
That's it, bro. You're playing it in your car by yourself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. When Joey sent it to me, and I was like, dude, this goes.
Yeah. Do you think
needs to come out? It needs to come out. I'm just saying.
We'll see. If you could get back in pads, would you do it?
Oh my!
In this season of your life?
In a heartbeat.
Would you really?
No hesitation whatsoever.
I don't think you
if I were healthy,
pads, dude.
If I were healthy,
well, I'm saying.
I'd be a 40U guy. I'd be on the reels of these guys. I would play.
What did you play? What was your position?
I was an offense lineman. So in high school, I was guard on offense.
Okay.
D tackle.
Yeah.
And in college, I beefed up a little bit. I probably played about 280 in high school.
Wow.
And
Okay.
in college, the heaviest I saw was about 323.
Wow.
But I rocked pads at about 305, 315. Like,
Wow.
you have a big meal, one way or the other. You're going to go 10
yeah.
pounds one way or the other.
Yeah. Wow.
And out of, I don't know, you probably have 45 games or so of your college career.
Yeah.
I played in every single one of them.
Wow.
And I think I started maybe like 35-ish or so of them. Wow. So I started the back half of my freshman year.
Okay.
On.
You earned that spot.
Yeah, dude. And I played right guard as a freshman.
Okay.
And then my buddy Folkerts was a right tackle. So him and I were right next to each other. Then they wanted him as the left tackle, so they scooched him over to the left side. They brought me to the left side. So literally, freshman year right guard, sophomore year left guard.
Okay.
Then they wanted me at tackle to take his spot whenever he left. So then they cut me out to right tackle for a year. And then my senior year, left tackle. So I was literally
all
just
over
boom,
the line.
boom. Yes, yes.
Wow. So do you prefer guard or tackle then?
Oh,
because you get to pull. You get to pull. I mean, technically you could pull in both, I guess. But
dude, left tackle is swaggy.
Was it? Yeah.
It is. It is a beast position.
On your strong side,
dude. It is. That's the creme de la creme, and I like that spot. But I am body composition a lot better for a guard.
Yeah,
guard center is what I should.
You must have been. Dude, I would never guess that you were a lineman just on your build. You must have been an athletic lineman, dude.
Yeah, I was okay. I did pretty good, man. I had fun with it. A lot of cool people, a lot of great venues. I was as an offensive lineman my senior year, probably one of the most proud accolades I have. I was team MVP. Let's go. As an offensive lineman, that takes a dog, right?
That's
yeah,
you got some dog in you, bro, for sure.
Dude.
What's kind of sad is at QB in high school, I got second team All-State. But I was in Rhode Island, so it was the smallest state in America. So I couldn't even get first team in the smallest state. So,
all right,
that was the beginning of the end.
So this is crazy though, because you're quarterback in high school.
Yeah, and playing safety. I was playing both ways. Okay. Started both ways.
Okay, but bro, you go you're tight end D.
I know, but I was skinny growing up. I was really skinny. I was the same height. I was like 190 pounds. And then at like 21 or 22, bro, I just couldn't keep weight off. So it's just my whole composition changed, man.
Yeah, crazy. started bulking up.
That's it, bro. That's it.
Getting heavier on the weights.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Man, I remember being out on some of these nights out on the towns, and it's like when you get that big, like you just get targeted for no reason, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like I was, but I was with a bunch of big people too, right? Definitely. And it would just be like
that whole alpha thing, like
man. I had a guy come up to me one time. He said, "Man, I mean, everybody asks you how much you bench first of all, right?
Yeah, like, for sure. What's your all time? Just curious.
I did 405 three times.
Oh my gosh, that's lineman straight. I think that's like 335, 325. I'm ashamed of it, but
no, that was my strong suit. But yeah, I had this guy come up to me one time, and he's like, "Man, I bet you could kick everybody's ass in here, except for mine." And I'm like, "What are we doing?" I'm just like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. But so, dude, one thing I wanted to circle back on, and when we started talking about doing this, I circled this, and I was like, this right here tells me everything I need to know about you and your character.
Okay.
And like I said, girl dad of 3, ex-football guys, both big guys.
Yep.
Like I genuinely feel like I know you, and I'm sad that we haven't had more of an opportunity to connect.
We'll stay connected.
But tell me more about, you have one daughter, biologically, and 2 daughters adopted.
Yes.
Like, bro.
Yeah,
kids don't always, you don't always get to choose kids, much less girls. As I didn't choose 3 girls. I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it for the world, man.
Yeah,
wouldn't change it.
But if we could have a boy, wouldn't be mad about it.
I mean, girls can play football now too.
That's
My daughter's wrestling now too.
That's true.
But yes, bro, you chose 3 daughters. You adopted 2 daughters, bro.
Yeah.
Talk to me now.
Yeah, man. So when I first started dating my wife, early on when we hung out, one of the first times we hung out, she starts weeping and she's like, "I got to tell you something." And I'm like, "What is this girl about to tell me?" and she tells me she has a brain tumor, presses up against a pituitary gland. I don't know what you know about the pituitary gland, but it's like the control center for your body. So her hormones, all those things, she was never regular. And she's like, never had periods. So she's like, I don't know if kids is in the cards for me. And she's like, if that's too much, if you don't want to be with me, I get it. It's a lot to digest. And bro, I was like just already obsessed with her. So I didn't even care. I'm like, no, we're good. It's like, we'll figure it out. So fast forward in the story, we get married. But you know how it is, man. You start getting older and your friends are having kids. And that longing to be a parent, to nurture something, to create that legacy, which I've heard you talk a lot about, that starts knocking on the door and starts lingering. And then, you think, oh, maybe we're pregnant. You have negative test after negative test, and it can just get discouraging. So in 2020, which was a weird year, she comes to me and she's like, hey, I think we should foster kids. And I'm like, what? Like, because, that's, you don't even grow into it. You just bring a kid into your house and immediately you're a parent. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a dad. So I'm terrified, but I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we get certified. We go through the Zoom calls. I
hear this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is expensive, right? Like
yeah.
this is
so adopting kids is expensive. When you go through foster care, the state actually pays you to take care of kids, which a lot of people aren't familiar with. So it's free to get signed up for it. So basically we get into it, we get certified, and then what happens, Steve, is you get certified, then your name goes on a list and you just start getting calls about kids. And so it's like, this kid was left by himself, or dad got arrested for drugs, or whatever. You get, the background to the situation, and then you basically say yes or no. So we're getting calls, and it's just it's a crazy thing, and it's such a needed thing. You talked about starting a fundraiser, and I think if I ever get to the place where I'm in a situation like that, to start some kind of foundation or organization, I want to do something with foster care. It's something that's in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
But long story short, man, we get a call about a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And Abigail says yes. I was coaching at the time. I was coaching at our local CrossFit gym. I come to my phone. She's like, we got to go pick 2 girls up in Branson, Missouri tonight. I'm like, okay. So we get this 1-year-old and this 2-year-old. And the minute I saw them, bro, I fell in love with them. Now, they tell you not to do foster care to adopt, because the goal of foster care is to take care of these kids until their parents get right, and then they go back to the parent. And that's scary for people. That's why a lot of people don't do it. But we knew in this situation particularly, it was unlikely that they were going to be reunited with their parents, and we wanted to adopt. We were in it.
It would be really hard.
Yes.
I feel like to only foster.
Yes.
And especially knowing you, like what I feel like you would bring as a parent.
It is, bro.
And like you're not gonna half it, you know.
Right.
Right.
So we bring in this 1-year-old and 2-year-old. That's January of 2021. And then in March, we find out she's pregnant. Okay, so I'll never forget. She's like, man, I'm feeling weird. I've been sick. I'm feeling funky. She's like, I think I'm going to go take a pregnancy test. I'm like, all right, yeah, just go take it, whatever. She takes it. I remember her being in the bathroom. She's like, Mark, I'm pregnant. I'm like, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Like, just couldn't believe it. And so we decided on the name Glory for the baby that was going to be in her belly. And come to find out, dude, she ends up being born on Christmas morning. So you can't make this stuff up, dude. Yeah, God's the best author, dude. Like, he just has a plan. And here's what's crazy, bro. I think sometimes we can get frustrated with God's timing or things not working out. We have our plan. We have our agenda. And if he wouldn't have withheld Glory, I don't think we ever would have moved into Jazzy and Elena. And so it's just this thing of you just got to trust his timing, keep taking steps, and it'll all work out, man. But yeah, so she was born December 2021.
Dude, I got chills down to my spine now.
It's my favorite story to tell. Dude.
I mean, bro, one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing that I've ever done is become a father. Yeah. Right? And create it with Ember, my wife, and create that family. Yeah. And to hear how you guys created yours. Yeah. Yeah. I knew there was something special there, but Glory on Christmas Day. Dude. 2 months after.
That's it.
And what are the oldest two?
Jasmine is my oldest. Elena is my middle child. And then I have Glory, who's my youngest.
Jasmine and Elena.
Yep.
Where would they be? With
no telling,
you know?
Man. No telling.
No telling.
Yeah, what they were rescued from, bro, is just...
And God he knew who he was giving them to, too. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, bro. It's been beautiful. I was really terrified to do it, man. And I remember one night, I just had an honest conversation with God. I sat in my living room. I was listening to worship music, and I was just sitting in the living room praying by myself. And I said, God, should I do this? Like, is this something you want me to do? And don't go ask God to take care of orphans, because you know what his answer will be. So stupid question to start with. But he brought me to Romans 8:15. And I'm paraphrasing it, so I won't get it exactly right. But it says, I haven't given you a spirit of fear. I've given you a spirit of adoption, so you can call me Abba, Father. And he goes, I want you to do in the natural what I've done for you in the spiritual. And I said, all right, that's what we'll do. And so that was it, man.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Because I had this down. I wanted to ask you about this.
Okay.
And, you said you were having a conversation with God, right?
Yeah.
And you have that.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I get nudges. I feel like sometimes, but it's hard. It's hard to listen.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
Sure.
How do you know? How do you listen? How do you talk? How do you conversate? How do you know that's what you're getting? How do you know it's not outside or whatever it may
Bad
be?
Pizza.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great question, man. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I got it all figured out and have all the answers. But I would say a lot of times people are like, God's not saying anything. He's being quiet. And what I would say first and foremost is 2 Timothy 3:16 says all scripture is God-breathed and useful for teaching, rebuking, and training in righteousness. So it's all God-breathed, his word. So let's not complain that God's not speaking if we're not spending any time in his word because he's already spoke, right? So I would say that's where we start.
So you're telling me I need to get
You
got to
read your word, Steve. That's it, bro. You got to, and those watching, you got to get in your word. And here's what I've also found to be true is as I spend time in his word and I come familiar with his voice, it tunes the eardrum of my heart to know when his spirit is whispering in those decision makings or trying to decide those specific things for my family, or do we take this deal? Do we not take this deal? Do I hire this person? Whatever the thing, the decision you're trying to navigate. If I'm familiar with his word and with his voice, I think those whispers become more clear. So, and then another thing that I would say too is, Proverbs talks about how it's wise to get a lot of counsel or to receive wise counsel. And so I think finding those people who you trust, guys who are living it out, who are godly, who are spending time with God and leaning into them, I think God speaks through others. So a couple practical things there.
Yeah,
man, I think.
I agree, man. I need to pick up God's word a little bit more, and I think that amongst other things I can improve on too, right? But I will say this. Who it is that you seek advice from too, and how many people you seek advice from too, needs to be intentional. Yeah, you keep asking the same question over and over again. You're gonna find somebody who's gonna give you the answer because you're gonna tell them the story that you want them to hear in order to lead you to that direction. Yeah. But having a wise counsel, having those people that aren't gonna fluff your pillow and be real and tell you not just what you want to hear but what you need to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's big. So
I appreciate you asking that, man, because I think a lot of people, they wonder that and they wrestle with that. And Pastor Eric, pastor of Element Church, who we both know and love, he always says too, which I think makes it even more practical. He says if it's good, it's from God. And so I think sometimes we can overthink, am I supposed to do this thing? Well, is it good or is it not? So
I think that sometimes too, to give God that credit on the idea, to give God that glory on the idea, and to know that is from him, and you can get so many other different ideas and nudge in so many different directions, and God might have been the one who put it in your heart and in your soul to do in the first place, and just to know and circle back, right? Because there's so much noise, there's so much me kind of mentality in the entire grand scheme of things, right?
And I think about being a dad, being a leader, and I think without his truth, man, without the truth of God's word leading, guiding, directing my life, and I'm sure you can, you got to raise these kids. Well, there's no owner's manual on how to raise these kids, and so I'm so thankful for his word as this instruction manual to our life. I think sometimes obedience, it gets a bad rap. Like obedience is a dirty word. I think obedience is beautiful because I think obedience to his word leads us into blessing. And I want to live in the blessing, right? So, yeah, man, you got to get in that word, bro. Not that you aren't, but.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Obedience to discipline,
Yeah.
Accountability
Yes.
to those kinds of things. Those
Yeah.
are all, tangible, characteristic traits that are biblical too. Genesis 2:15, God put man in the Garden of Eden to work it.
Yes.
It's literally an affirmation. It's on my mind every day.
That's it, bro.
And read it, and I just know that I'm here to outwork people.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I love it.
Hey Steve, how are you successful in mortgage? How are you successful in whatever? Just like, hey, first and foremost, I do what's right.
It's good.
Second, I work harder than you.
Yeah.
That's it. Like there's no special sauce, nothing, and that's part of who I remind myself to be in a day in.
I love that. That's good, man.
Look at me giving a Bible
Come
quote.
on. Are you a preacher, bro?
A verse off the top here.
Hey, if you could win a football game
Yeah.
or preach in a stadium
Oh, don't do it to me.
and the people go nuts,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I mean, man, if I could give you got to go with give God the
That's
glory.
it.
In
I
the
know.
Stadium.
I know.
That's too easy of a decision, you know.
Yeah.
I've won games before. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So another kind of part of your story here, right?
Yeah.
So and I was gonna kind of incorporate this to where you're at with the kids, and I guess this would be jumping ahead or before that part when you had your three daughters and talk about, you had said that you had gotten a call, you got called to pastor or lead, and you kind of ignored it.
Yeah.
What age are we? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, good question. So I would say I started playing the drums at church when I was in middle school, I think 7th grade.
Okay.
And so I was around it. I was in it. But
Were you inspired by anybody, like maybe Travis Barker or anything like that?
I big Blink-182 fan. So one of my favorite bands of all time. You better believe it.
Dude, we went to the concert a
Did
month
you?
ago or
Did
so.
you?
Yeah. I know,
in
like,
the car, I just can't wait.
that's about the only thing I know.
Yeah.
And we get there, by the end of it, I'm like, dude, Travis Barker is freaking
I
just
love it.
awesome, man. But
That's
sorry,
I played.
derailed.
I played far less better than him.
So drumming away,
Drumming
middle
away,
school.
dude. But what it did is it anchored me to God's house. And as a teenager, I think it would have been easy to skip all the time and not be consistent. And so for me, it was this thing every week. I was the only drummer in the church. I drummed every weekend. So from middle school through high school, I was in church every weekend. And I was from I was from Rhode Island. Providence, Rhode Island was voted the least biblically minded city in America at the time. So really none of my other friends are in church. It's just kind of this thing that I am a part of.
Now,
And
were you in church because you wanted to be a drummer, or were you in church because you were, serving and going
I'm
to church anyway?
in church because mom and dad are making me, and then I
Okay.
start playing. And I would say my relationship with Jesus started to grow, and I started, cultivating a love for him. But I also, bro, I was in the world. I was chasing girls. It got to the point where I was eventually, partying on the weekends and some of these things. So I remember reading this book when I was like 16. It's called Making Ripples, and it was about leaving a legacy, right, and impacting people. And after I read that book, I just sensed in my heart, man, I think I'm supposed to pastor, and I think I'm supposed to preach. And a part of that too was every social circle I ended up in, every sports team that I ended up on, I was the captain. I became the leader in the group. And so there were these clear gifts of communication and leadership. And I just, I think a lot of times that our gifts are a compass to our calling. So you read all these leadership books, and they talk about getting an area of focus, not trying to be a well-rounded, learn everything. It's about identify what you're good at and lean into that, right? At least that's what I've read. So if that's wrong, then that's fine.
No, I agree with you, and then trusting the who's in your life that you can displace what you're not 10 out of 10 on. Yeah.
So I knew for me, if I was going to surrender my life fully and offer those gifts to him and steward the things that he put on me and in me for him, I knew it looked like leading in his church and preaching and doing some of those things. But the problem is no one in my family ever did that. I knew how sinful I was. I was barely praying. I was barely reading. And I'm like, God, you couldn't do that through me, bro. You know how broken I am. You know how stupid I am. The list goes on. And so I just ran from that for a long time. I think really struggling to believe that God could do something like that through somebody like me. And
this is like what, sophomore, junior year through.
Yeah. So I go to Evangel University, which is a Christian university. And part of the reason I went there, because I was like, if I can just go get in a Christian environment, then I'll just end up in ministry and everything will fall into place.
So you were feeling that pull as you were transitioning to college.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. But then I got there and I thought, if I get in the right environment, everything will be good. The problem is when the issues are internal, they follow you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So I get on the campus of Evangel University and my life looks the same. I'm still chasing girls. I'm still finding parties. And you find what you're looking for. And so my life looks exactly the same, dude. And to kind of fast forward through it here, end up getting hurt playing, pretty much flunk out of college. I end up in my parents' basement. I'm working at Verizon selling cell phones, having to wear a shirt and tie every day.
Okay, were you hurt or were you injured?
Injured. So it was my L5 S1.
Yeah. No, yeah. I got to give you some,
Yeah. So
could you have played through it, bro?
Yeah,
come on.
I tried, bro. I swear, and I was just tearing up in practice. I was in so much pain.
You're back.
Yes, dude. Walking upstairs, it was like, so I started skipping a lot of class. Like the injury led to me skipping a lot. It affected everything. To be in chronic pain, dude, is just like, it's a horrible thing. So. So yeah, I end up in my parents' basement and kind of have to start all over. And I'm sitting in this community college and I'm in a shirt and tie. Everyone else is in their PJs. I feel like a doofus, dude, just sitting there. And I'm having this honest conversation with God. Like, people always told me you had big plans. I thought we were going to do something cool together. Like, what is this? This is the way it's unfolding, and I don't like the way it's unfolding. And I remember walking down the stairs. It was at OTC Community College in Ozark, Missouri. And the Holy Spirit just put in my heart, what did I call you out here for? What did I bring you out here for? And it was to go into ministry. It was to follow him. And so on that staircase, bro, I just surrendered. And that was kind of the origin of it. And so I called one of my best friends. I said, what do I do, bro? He's like, you just need to pray. Because I think he was trying to feel out, is this an emotional decision or are you actually committed to this? And I was at a church with like 25 people. Because when I went to, so I was graduated in Rhode Island. Then I moved out to Missouri for college, but when I did, my family came out too. So I'm in Missouri now.
Okay.
And I'm going to a church with like 25 people on a weekend, super small church. Showed up on a Tuesday night, dude, to preach to some kids. Preached to like 3 kids sitting on a pew. Ugliest building you've ever seen. Like nothing flashy.
How did this come together? 3 kids on a pew.
Okay, so I call my friend and I say, dude, what do I do? I'm like ready. And I got big expectations in my heart because I'm going to be preaching in arenas someday. Let's go, And he goes, you just need to pray. And I didn't like that answer, but I'm like, okay. So while I'm waiting on God to reveal what he's going to do and what my next step is, my mom comes into my room. She's like, hey, I told Monica, who is a lady from the church, I told Monica that you'd preach to her kids. She's bringing some kids on a Tuesday night. And I'm like, okay. So I show up. I preach on 1 Timothy 4:12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but be the example in speech, life, love, faith, and purity. That's what I was going to preach to these kids. And I show up, dude. There's 3 kids on these wooden pews, and I preach this thing like the room's full.
Let's go.
Nothing burns down, and I'm like, okay, we did it. And they're like, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay. Come back the next Tuesday, dude. There's like 5 kids. I'm like, all right, we're growing. Come back the next Tuesday. There's like 7 kids. And we just grew this thing to every Tuesday. We had 50 kids in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
Coming out. And that was kind of how I got started,
in
bro.
Ozark, Missouri.
And it was actually Highlandville, Missouri. Like just the ittiest, bittiest little town. And did that for like 2 years.
Highway, Missouri? Where?
Highlandville. Yeah. Yeah, you'll probably never go there. So... But I'm grateful, dude. And it was, God has...
Wow, and you got 50 kids in Highlandville.
Yeah, in the middle of the
I'm just driving that point in, too. Not to anything bad about Highlandville. We love you down there. Yeah. You guys have brought Mark up.
To me, bro, I'm like, this is a miracle. This is insane.
Absolutely.
But what's cool, dude, is I think God had to... Mark, will you be faithful here? Where it's not sexy, where there's no lights, where there's not a lot of influence... Will you serve me faithfully here? Because, dude, I've been blessed, and even my time at Element Church, dude, is there's thousands of people coming on the weekend, and to think in just less than 10 years. Well, I guess it was 10 years later. that God would use you in that space is just like every time before I go preach anywhere, dude, I just have this small conversation with God, like, God, thank you, dude, for using me, because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And the fact that you'd use me in this space is almost comical. So it's been so beautiful, dude.
So Highlandville, started your own youth following, and you're still going to college.
Yes.
You're maybe 23,
20,
maybe
21.
20.
Yeah, young.
Yeah. And you think, obviously there's a lot of like points there that I would like, I can circle back to and drive in. And one that's really, I'm thinking of is in the stairway when you surrendered.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm claimed surrendered and raised my family and do all that I can that way. And again, room for improvement. I'm not saying I'm perfect there by any means, but
you and me both.
It's almost like sometimes in those moments, it's almost like there's resistance.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's almost like if I do this, like, I don't know how to express all the way what I'm saying, but you got to have had a moment there where you're like, man, if I do this, I'm never going back. And then do I do this? And then like, walk me through that, how that felt before, after, during.
Yeah. I think, my perspective and worldview, I think there's, the leading of the Holy Spirit. I think God's got plans and he wants to lead us and guide us. He's a good shepherd, but we also have this flesh that we're dealing with. I got me. And then there's a spiritual enemy that we're up against as well, who doesn't want me to step into the things that God has for me, doesn't want you to step into the things that God has for you. And Scripture talks about that. There's this war between good and evil, right? And so I think a lot of times, sometimes even just our own flesh is enough. And I'm sure you've dealt with this too. Before you make some big move, you stepped out, started your own thing, started your own, whether it's your foundation, a business, whatever it might be, own practice. There's this little voice in the back of your head that's, you think you can do this?
It's not God.
You think you're good enough to do this? You think you know enough? What happens if you fail? You know you're going to fail. And I think whether it's guilt, shame, lack of confidence, whatever it might be, all those things, dude, I think can distract us. And here's what I found out to be true, man, as I'm living this thing out, is you're never fully ready. I think it's more about making yourself available and just having the courage to step. Because I think if we wait till we're ready, then the moment's probably already passed,
That right there, I feel like, obviously we're talking faith. We're talking a lot about personal growth and development.
Yeah.
That's applicable to
100%.
life.
100%.
Life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love so much about our ministry or church body is like the lessons that we get is just their life.
Yeah.
In addition to, right, with Christian faith backing. And when you talk about who it is that you are before going in something like that, you are transformed. That person dies. Yeah. That's a transformation.
That's it.
Whether it's surrendering to God, whether it is starting a new venture, a new business, or whatever it may be, the transformation. I know who I was 3 years ago before I started my venture. Yeah. I am not that person anymore. And there have been other monumental, milestones, if you will, in my life that past version of myself, you don't go through the deep waters and come back out the same version of yourself sometimes. And I think that is one encouraging for me to hear from somebody who was born or not born, but grew up in the church, went to a college that was Christian, and had all, and you still had that moment of surrender.
Definitely.
And I think that's important to inspire also, hopefully, right? Other viewers in this moment. We kind of talked about that. I was like, dude, this is let's use this is a platform, not for me, not for you, for him, right?
And absolutely.
And if we could share that through this message today, dude, that'd be a good pod for us, bro.
100%, bro. Yeah, I think that's and the other thing just about leadership, stepping out, doing these things, bro, is I think people forget that you're a pioneer in those moments. And I think it's you're going somewhere maybe no one's had the courage to go or no one else has been. And so everybody wants to be the leader till it's time to be the leader.
Till they see the invoice.
Exactly, man. And so and you get that, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers, they get it. And it's just having the courage to step, even not knowing what's in the deep grass, but you're blazing the trail as you go. And I think sometimes, bro, we just got to have the courage to step. And if you fail, it's not going to be wasted either. So yeah, man.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that and go full circle with it, God wants us to have massive dreams.
Come on, dude.
He wants us to be big. Like what you're thinking about, he's like, you think that's all I can handle and do?
Yep.
And when you do have that faith, it's not about you if you fail or not. It's about what you can do as a vessel for the Holy Father, right?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I love that, and that's a lot of how I've tried to incorporate decisions that I've made.
I love it.
Not all of them by any means, but some of the big ones, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a beautiful thing, man. So, I was just kind of reviewing some of the things here that you're going through next, right? So we kind of parked there a little bit, and you're in your mid-20s. I'm trying to keep going down our journey of your background here.
Yeah,
you're gaining this following in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. You're probably passing some classes now. I'd imagine.
For sure. Making better decisions. Got better friends.
How's the back feeling? The guy put his healing hands on
you. Back's getting better. So.
Back in the weight room.
Yeah. So from there, I did that for about 2.5 years, I think. That wasn't a spot where I could do that full time, vocational ministry. Like for that to be all I'm doing and making a living off of doing that. And so an opportunity opens up to be a youth pastor at a church of about, maybe 600, 700 people or something like that. And I take it, start doing youth ministry.
That's a pretty decent size congregation, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then the youth ministry had like 200 kids in it, and we were running an after school program too. So it was, even from 50 to 200, it's like, all right, here we go. It felt like, the big leagues or whatever. And so did that for 2 years. And then the church that I was a part of at the time, they had a campus. So in 2 years, I became a campus pastor. I moved into that next. I was just at this place where I think I was, it takes a special person to do youth ministry. It requires a lot of patience because, teenagers are teenagers, and God bless them. We love them. But I felt like I was ready to be with the grown folk. That's kind of where my heart was. And a campus pastor position opened up at that church. And so at 25 years old, dude, I walk into this. I basically, become the pastor of this church, again, in Marshfield, Missouri, which was a small town, about 6,000 people. And
I just think that's super impressive.
Yeah, in that you talk about terrifying, dude.
Like, at 25, you're leading the whole congregation. Whenever 5 years ago, you know what I mean, had your probably surrender moment.
That's it, dude. Yeah. So we come into that, and but it was so crazy, dude. And this is where I'm like, we just got to have the courage to step into it. We just got to have the courage to say yes, because we come into this thing, and I think when we came, the most that had ever showed up on a weekend was like 200 people. And in 6 months, dude, we were running close to 500 people. So in 6 months, we had almost doubled in size. So it was just like, we're with the team. We're like, this is crazy. God's moving, blah, 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 blah. It is just such a beautiful season, dude. I think back to, I could see so many of those people's faces, and they were so good to me and my family. We adopted our kids in that season and just had all the support. They surrounded us. And that's not to say it didn't have its challenges, but it was a beautiful season that I was really grateful for. And just, trial by fire, man, it was forced to grow, was forced to become a better leader, or else we wouldn't have been able to sustain and steward what we had.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I know that we had we kind of talked on some adverse situations.
Yeah.
And I could imagine going in and trying to, establish leadership, and when you kind of peel back some of the curtains that you're looking at, and maybe needing to make some changes in a small town, in a small, small church, right? Like that could have been not without its challenges.
Right. Yeah, well, I think in your small towns too, I think sometimes it's easy for this is the way we've always done it. I think everybody's familiar. Let's not rock the boat. Where you get into a bigger city like St. Louis, and I think change is just more easily accepted.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more fast paced as a whole. So, yeah, man, that was there were definitely challenges in that season, but I think God used them too. As I reflect on them.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to unpack some of that stuff? Do you want?
Yeah, I mean, if you do,
Yeah.
if there's like a something to circle back on, maybe
Yeah.
like a hell and back moment
Yeah,
that you had
yeah.
through that,
Yeah, I love it.
is
Yeah.
that you might have, to where I've stepped into leadership. I have been in a place where I've hired 10 people and I've fired 2 or 3 people throughout the years,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to find people,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
hard.
for sure.
It's hard to make sure you made the right decision. And then when you make it and you got to pivot, you start unpacking. Okay, not only am I impacting my day-to-day and my business with this, and is this the right decision, and making sure that you're making that decision appropriately, but you're also impacting somebody else's household income.
Yeah, totally.
And it's hard.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's something you've got more comfortable with now? Having those hard conversations, the hire, fire conversations?
I think that this is such a cliche: hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
And I have a mentor that I've consulted in the past, and he had this metaphor that he gave me, Steve, and he said, Steve, whenever you're up against that decision, imagine you're walking down the Oregon Trail. Imagine you're walking down a hiking trail, and there's a rattlesnake behind you. You don't let the rattlesnake follow you.
Yeah.
You pull your pistol out and you shoot the rattlesnake dead right then and there.
Wow.
You don't let the rattlesnake follow you.
Yeah.
You shoot it. So a
lot of times we try to make the rattlesnake a pet, right? We can fix them. We can tame them.
as soon as you know it's a rattlesnake, pop it. Done.
Wow.
Dead.
That's hardcore, man. But wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's not a rattlesnake,
Right.
we're okay.
Right, for
But
sure.
when you know it is,
Yeah.
why are you letting it follow you down the trail?
It's good. It's good. Yeah, bro. Wow.
So yes, that's a little bit of instilled. And again, I've gone through some tough seasons where I was not the same going into it. You have these anxious feelings. Am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? And coming out on the other side of that to be decisive with those decisions when you know and you've identified it is that.
Yeah.
Why are you?
Yeah.
Why are you letting the serpent?
Yeah.
That's
good. Yeah, we talk about hell and back moments. Because I think there are parts of that season. So I was there for about almost 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And I think in that season, I experienced some of the most beautiful moments of the journey, specifically the ministry journey. I also think it was in that season that I maybe experienced some of the most difficult moments too. Dude, I remember going to a pastor's retreat my first year of leading the church, when I first went out, started being a campus pastor. And I'm sitting around this table with all these pastors. They're all seasoned. They've been in ministry for a long time, dude. And half of them are weeping, talking about how challenging it is and all these wounds that they have. And I'm sitting there in my church, or the church that I'm a part of and that I'm leading in, we've doubled in size. So it's the honeymoon phase. We're like, let's go. This is awesome. Everything's rocking and rolling. So I'm sitting there a little naive thinking, guys, come on. This is the greatest thing in the world that we get to do. Why are y'all complaining? Like, what are we whining about? We're pastors. And it wouldn't be long after that where I got a little taste of, here's why these guys felt the way they did. And it was, so we talked about adopting those kids. And there was this time period, man, I had a staff member who made a mistake. And so we had a fire to put out there, went to transition a staff member. And that there was a lot of trial that came from that where, we talk about even some of those small town dynamics too, where everybody's kind of tied together. And so lost a lot of friends through that, and then I was bringing in 3 kids, went from 0 to 3 kids in a year. And that all happened in the same year, kind of on the same timeline. And those days I had one moment, dude, I broke down on my couch. I cried with my wife and said, I just need to sit here and cry and I just need to talk. And But also, dude, coming out of that, because Element would be the next place that I would go, take a job with them. And I just felt like that season, there was such an equipping that took place in that season of learning to lead through emotions, hurt, pain. Because man, it doesn't stop. Like, if you're leading a business, organization, a team, whatever it is, you got to show up on good days. You got to show up on bad days. It doesn't stop. And I just felt like there was such a capacity that was built in that season. And so when I came into the next one, it was like you could sense that, So, yeah. Last thing here, not to, but I think even the Bible talks about this, dude. James, he talks about a perspective shift, our hardships, our trials, the way we're supposed to view them. He says, James writes, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because they're producing something in you. Paul writes in Romans 5, rejoice in your suffering. And you think, no, that's my time I weep. That's the time I grieve. Like, I'm not going to celebrate my trials. That seems like this crazy sort of worldview to have. But he was calling us to change our perspective, because God's using those things to develop things in us that otherwise wouldn't have existed or been cultivated outside of some of those circumstances. So, man, I look back on anything, not just that season, but any challenging season, and I can be grateful for it, knowing that God used it and it produced something in me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe you can look back on some of your journey and you can feel the same, or if that resonates with you. But
I had a lot of conversation with my brother. Him and I are probably as close as anybody else I am into this world, exception my wife and kids. Yeah. And I remember at one point, and he just telling me, hey, look, God's putting you in the deepest water so nobody else can keep swimming with you.
Wow.
And just a shift to know that I get the opportunity to go that deep.
Yeah.
I'm getting the opportunity to go through, I'm serious, through that deep water.
Yeah.
Where the enemies can no longer swim with me.
Yeah.
And to come back out of that. And there's a lot of special growth that happens in those deep waters.
Yep.
And I'm sure, like when you had said, equipped.
Yeah.
It had equipped you to become.
Yeah. You grew fins in that deep water.
I grew fins, bro. Still got them.
That's good. I still got it. You a shark, boy. You ain't a dog. You a shark.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, and I think something else, when I was going through it, was the ability to compartmentalize. And as a leader, it's so important to keep composure, especially when you're the captain of the boat. And you're going through the eye of the storm. And everybody else is do we turn around? What do we do? And you have to be able to continue to lead and continue to motivate, inspire, and move people. Otherwise, the body's not going to keep going.
Right.
And, to your point too, I had a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old at the time. And, it was like a new one. Like it was like a less than one. Millie was less than one when I was kind of going through some of this.
Which is the hardest season too.
It's so hard, as a father.
You're not sleeping. They're so dependent. Yeah.
It's a lot, but, and a wife, obviously, right? And I was a son, and I was a brother, and I was a friend, and I was still all of these other things to all these other people. And I developed a unique ability to compartmentalize what's going over here. And here's why I did it, is because the people that were trying to hurt me, they didn't deserve to come over here. They didn't deserve to come home with me. They didn't deserve to come on my girls' practice or at home at bedtime or do that. They didn't deserve to come to my family's Thanksgiving, and I needed to be present. I needed to be where my feet were at, and I needed to be in those moments. And then they didn't deserve to come in my team meetings anymore because they were done.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I developed a unique a perspective, not only to compartmentalize, but I'm going to bring this up, in spite of them, almost, right? Yeah. In spite of them, like, you're not taking that time. Yeah. You've already taken all of this from me. You're not taking that. I control this.
That's a mature mindset. And I think to operate like that requires maturity. you know, to be able to compartmentalize, like you sharing that, bro. I just think about, but you got to be mature to do that, because that ain't easy to set those emotions aside. I heard it like this: choices are good leaders, feelings are good followers. And so what I hear you saying is, in those moments, man, you're like, I made decisions. This is not coming past this line. This is not allowed to come into that area. But you got to have some self-control to do that. Yeah. So
it's hard, man.
That's the way you frame that, though. I love that, man. That's really good.
Appreciate it. And you know, that's part of the process we're all on. And I said this in another, you know, content podcast, whatever. It's like, I used to think that we were in this, and then like one day I would just make it, and I'd be at the end of the journey, and I'd be at this destination, and I would be there. Yeah. And I also had a shift that, like, it's all process over product. You are going to be in the journey, and that's life. Yes, this is a journey, and part of. And we were doing I was doing a Finish Strong workshop with my team last week, and we took a moment and we wrote down. And I was trying to get everybody in a gratitude mindset and in a dream big mindset. Yeah. And in a motivated mindset to finish this year. This time of year, it's really slow for mortgage. It's really slow for real estate. Not a lot of activity. Home buyers aren't going because it's the winter time, so on and so forth, right? And so we started off, and we said, I know I am successful when. And I had everybody just start journaling. I gave them 5-10 minutes. I love that. And then the second, I was like, all right, everybody sit here. Let's go to the next page. I have to be successful because. So here's when I know I'm successful. Here's why. I got to be there. Yeah. And I have thought about this. I've done some exercises about this in the past, and I don't know what it was to this moment with the team, but something dawned on me, and maybe it was having this podcast here recently, talking about journey versus destination and process over product. But something kind of dawned on me in that moment where, because if I'm not successful, if I'm not winning, I'm losing. I'm not staying here, right? And I've heard that cliche before. Yeah. And just because you hear something, you're not ready to listen to it. It doesn't, right? Absolutely. It doesn't hit you. And that one hit me, and I was like, I wrote it down. I was like, if I'm not successful, then I'm failing. If I'm not winning, then I'm losing, because I must. Because I must, right? And you kind of unpack that into legacy and family lineage. And honestly, when we kind of talked about why this podcast, bro, that is a big part about why I want to do this, why I want to have this. It's because, you know, it doesn't matter how many zeros are in the bank account. It doesn't matter what you leave behind. It doesn't matter some of those things that are tangible assets, if you will, right? But to capture some moments and some legacy and some relationships and some friendships and some inspiration and some motivation to not only for my lineage and my family, but, you know, the why, the bigger, the inspiration on and so on and so forth. And dude, you are so blessed, and you are so good at what you do. Bro, you are special. Thank you, bro. I have to tell you that. If you guys aren't following this guy, you have to. You have to follow him on social, because I know you're about to just take off. But for you to have a responsibility that you have when you're preaching to auditoriums and you're preaching to all these people, you're going to exceed it. I genuinely want you to know that I feel that way about you. Wow. And one of the big reasons why I wanted you to be on this with me. But you get to pass on. You probably more than me and anybody understand that and what your word does, and amplifying it down line, so on and so forth. It's pretty special what you get to do, man.
I appreciate that, man. I was, even while you were sharing some of that, I was thinking about, for you, what might be cool too is to look back in 4 years, 5 years, because you're in this growth mindset. You're like, I can't stay here, which means you're only going to continue to grow. And I think you may even look back on some of these episodes and these times, and you're going to be able to see where you've grown and how you've developed, and which is secondary to leaving the legacy. And, you know, but I think that'll be a cool part of this journey for you as well. And man, I appreciate your words, your encouragement, man. It means a lot. So, you know, it's
on. So before we kind of wrap up here, what is next? I've heard some things, but like I need to hear it from the man himself. What's next? So and I'll just set the stage. How long did we have you at Element? A couple years?
I was there a little over 2 years.
And blessed, and I love Element. I love that, and it's my church home. I love them. the first time I heard you preach, I said he's not going to be here much longer. I asked Joey. I told him. I said he's not going to be here much longer. And I just
it wasn't
knew
my plan. It wasn't my plan to
God's
to
plan,
only
bro.
Be there. That's
God's
it.
plan, right?
Yeah.
But and I only say that just as a compliment to you,
Yeah.
and honestly as a compliment to Element to find somebody like and put it all together and to continue your growth and foster that. So what's next, man? I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, well, I want to say, shout out to Element, Pastor Eric and the team. So many great leaders there. Grew so much. So grateful for my time at Element. It's an incredible church. If you don't have a church home, I would say get your face in the place, man. It's awesome, and I'm super grateful for my time there. So, so Convoy of Hope is a nonprofit organization. I think they're like top 25 nonprofits. There's like 1.7 million nonprofits in America, and they're in the top 25. So they're just doing amazing things. Their main priority is disaster relief.
Okay.
And so, but they need to raise funds. They need to be connected to churches, as churches will give to projects, provide people. So what I'll do is I'm sort of an in-between for Convoy and the church. And my job is to build relationships with pastors, to help resource pastors to make impact in their communities, but also when a hurricane hits, when a tornado comes through and they need supply and resource, we need funds to support those efforts. So not only will I be building relationships with them, helping to raise funds, I'll also lead pastor retreats. So I'll take a group of guys on a Alaskan cruise, or maybe take them to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and spend time with them. I know, dude, we're going to be suffering. And then occasionally I'll preach in churches. I'm assigned to the West Coast starting off.
Okay.
So preach in churches, share the message, cast the vision, preach in churches all over the West Coast.
Come with hope.
Yeah.
Come with hope is
Convoy of Hope.
Convoy of
Hope.
Okay.
Yes.
Convoy of Hope.
Yeah, man.
Awesome,
so,
man.
Looking forward to it, dude.
Brother.
It'll be different because I've been in ministry for 12 years and preaching every week for 12 years. It'll be a little bit of a change of pace, but I really feel like it's a door the Lord's open, man, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, when we started this pod, I told you, I don't think we've genuinely known each other for even less than a year, probably. And man, I feel like I've known you for a long time, and we will for sure stay connected.
Absolutely, man.
Any last words as we're wrapping up the podcast? Any last message you want to just locker room these guys and get them going? You got these tunes.
Yes, so
remember the chains.
Yeah, man, I would say, we've talked about some of the things we've done and got to be a part of. And I think the beauty of following Jesus is that he invites you in to the process of doing his work. And this would be my message to leave people with. And I know we have probably a diverse audience. There's people from all different backgrounds and walks who are walking through this. But Colossians 1:16, it says all things were created through Jesus and for Jesus. And so it is just my belief, man. God desires a relationship with you. Your purpose and your good plans are found in your relationship with him. Not only the forgiveness of sins and all these things, but I think your purpose is connected to him. And so I would say if we avoid that, if we turn from that, we'll always be wandering. And so, man, if I got one message to give, it would be that, man, there's a God who loves you, sent Jesus to die for you, to have a relationship with you, for you to walk in the new right now and have eternal life with him, man. And so if you're curious, if you're wondering, I'd say dig into it. And that would be it, bro.
Follow my boy Mark at Mark Gritty on Instagram. You won't be regretting that decision. We appreciate you, bro, for coming on. Honored to share this with you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for having me.